Welcome to the Scaringi Law Lunch Break. This is your time of the day to learn a little bit about the law while you enjoy your lunch. The House Judiciary Committee voted today, Friday the 13th, to advance articles of impeachment against President Donald J. Trump to the full House of Representatives over his contacts with Ukraine. The articles, abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, were approved by a party line vote of 23-17. Representative Ted Lieu, a Democrat from California, was absent from the vote as he recovers from heart surgery. House Resolution 755, that's the name of the resolution through which the Judiciary Committee has voted out of committee these two articles of impeachment. Well, what are they? Article 1 is an impeachment of the President of the United States for abusing his powers. Article 2, impeaching the President of the United States for obstructing Congress. Now, this should conclude the impeachment hearings before the House Judiciary Committee. I'll tell you, these hearings came and went with some fireworks, though. One of them I would like to point out to you. As we all know, these hearings were called by the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, Jerry Nadler, after his committee received the report from the House Intelligence Committee, which itself had been convened by call of the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, with instructions to conduct an impeachment inquiry. As a result of Speaker Pelosi's call for an impeachment inquiry, House Democrats passed H.R. 660, which set forth the rules that would be followed by the committees during the impeachment. Now, during the Judiciary Committee's impeachment hearings, Republicans asked to call witnesses. Democratic Chairman Nadler denied their request. Republicans pointed out that House rules permit the minority party to call witnesses, and here's the relevant House rule. Whenever a hearing is conducted by a committee on a measure or matter, the minority members of the committee shall be entitled, upon request to the chair by a majority of them before the completion of the hearing, to call witnesses selected by the minority to testify with respect to that measure or matter during at least 1 day of hearing thereon. And that's House of Representatives Rule 1112J1. Now, reading from a prepared text, Chairman Nadler, the Democrat, argued, "The House rule does not require me to schedule a hearing on a particular day, nor does it require me to schedule the hearing as a condition precedent to taking any specific legislative action." In other words, the Democratic chairman of the House Judiciary Committee interpreted the rules allowing him to schedule a minority witness hearing after the articles of impeachment had already passed. What's the purpose then? Thus, the House Judiciary Committee violated its own rule when it voted to impeach President Trump for abuse of power. Ironic? Yes. Furthermore, the House Judiciary Committee completed this impeachment hearing without hearing from any fact witness. And yes, that is ironic considering the purpose and definition of a hearing is to hear from fact witnesses under oath. Another interesting development is this. In Article 2, the president is being impeached for obstruction of Congress for defying subpoenas. In part, it states, in response, without lawful cause or excuse, President Trump directed executive branch agencies, offices, and officials not to comply with those subpoenas. President Trump thus interposed the powers of the presidency against the lawful subpoenas of the House of Representatives and assumed to himself functions and judgments necessary to the exercise of the sole power of impeachment vested by the Constitution in the House of Representatives. Again, that's the pertinent part of Article 2 of the impeachment articles, obstruction of Congress. Now, we have discussed in a prior episode that the president has the right to challenge the lawfulness and validity of a congressional subpoena. And that happens when the person or entity issuing the subpoena seeks a court order compelling its enforcement. In this case, that would be the Democrats. And the person or entity subpoenaed, in this case the White House or the president's top advisors, would defend against the enforcement of the subpoena in court. And a judge would decide the issue. A judge would decide whether or not the White House and or its top advisors must comply with the congressional subpoena. None of this happened because the Democrats chose not to seek enforcement of their subpoena. Thus, the president cannot have obstructed Congress, and impeachment Article 2 is patently false. In any event, the president has indicated that he wants former Vice President Joe Biden to attend and testify at the Senate trial that will follow a vote by the full House of Representatives to impeach. Now, Senate Republicans would issue a subpoena to compel Joe Biden to attend and testify, and Joe Biden is on record stating he would defy the subpoena and would refuse to testify at the Senate trial. When asked if he will comply with the congressional subpoena from the U.S. Senate to testify at Trump's impeachment trial, Biden said, "No, I will not yield to what everybody is looking for here, and that is to take the eye off the ball." That's Joe Biden's direct response. So, number one, Joe Biden is stating he will defy or obstruct Congress, yet that is what President Trump is being impeached for. Number two, Joe Biden is stating he will defy or obstruct Congress for his own political reasons. He doesn't want to take his eye off the ball, that is, his campaign for president. Ironic? Yes. This is just a little more evidence to prove this impeachment of the president is total nonsense. In any event, a final vote in the full House of Representatives on impeachment on these two articles is expected next week, which would then set up a Senate trial in the new year just before the presidential primaries are set to get underway. Well, that's about all the time we have today for the Scaringi Law Lunch Break. I hope you learned a little bit about the law. Thanks for listening and enjoy your lunch.